Hey everyone, Dr. Harry. So let me ask you something. How much free time is too much free time? You know what I'm talking about? It's like a lot of us, we think, oh, we always complaining a lot about being too busy and not having enough free time, et cetera, et cetera. But is there such a thing as having too much free time? Well, there's a question that we haven't asked before, right? Well, the researchers at Wharton University, they wanted to answer that question. Is there an amount of time that makes us feel less productive? Just as we know that there are times where we feel less productive because we don't have enough free time. But does having too much free time also make us less productive? And that is the question that we want to delve into today. Now, what researchers did was they looked at over 21,000 Americans and they asked the question, because it has already been established that too little free time can make us feel stressed and very unhappy. But the question becomes then, is more free time better? And if so, how much better? And when does it stop being better, if it ever stops being better? And so that was primarily the question. So what they did was the participants here, they provided a detailed account of what they did during the prior 24 hours. And they talked about the time of day, the duration of the activities, and they reported on their sense of well-being, because that's the key there, is not only just feeling productive, but also that sense of well-being, that sense of happiness, if you will. The researchers found that as time increased, so did the feeling of well-being, right? So they found something not unusual, like the more free time we had, our sense of well-being also increased with that. But, there's always a but. They found that that sense of well-being leveled off at about 2 hours. So between the 2 to 5 hours of discretionary time, free time, the sense of well-being did not increase. But the interesting part is that after 5 hours of free time, sense of well-being started to decrease again. Individuals reported that they started to feel less productive. So basically, those are too little free time. They felt really stressed out, right? They felt that that was contributing to their lower sense of well-being. That's that sense of stress, not really having a break. But those with the higher levels of free time, what they felt was a sense of being just less productive. Like they really got nothing accomplished that in those particular days that they had all this discretionary time. So does that make sense to you? Would you say that this sounds very familiar to you? Is there a time for you is there a certain amount of free time for you that feels about just right? Think about that. But while you're thinking about that, think about this. They then went on to say, okay, for those who have a lot of discretionary time, they divided them into groups to do what they categorize as productive activities and non-productive activities. So hobbies, primarily just things that did not involve working. So for example, working out, getting involved in their hobbies, running, and then they categorize non-productive or unproductive activities, such as things like watching television, kind of browsing through social media. And then they really ask that question again, like, what is your sense of well-being? How happy do you feel? And what they found was that the sense of well-being in people who participated in the unproductive activities, such as prolonged excessive watching of television, browsing the internet, etc., they reported a lower sense of well-being than those who were involved in productive activities. So they reported a sense of well-being that was pretty consistent with the moderate group. So basically what this means is that for those of us who is free time is a relative concept. It's how do you feel during that time that you have? Are you involved in things that nourishes you, that stimulates you, that keeps your mind active, that keeps you learning, that keeps you interactive? So you ideally, a balance of these things, a balance of feeling productive and having time for the body to rejuvenate is so important. And just know that it may turn out to be individual for every one of you, but there is a point in time where too much free time seems to be just too much. Until next time, this is Dr. Eudene. Bye-bye.